Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely gamify reading comprehension. Reading can sometimes feel like a bit of a passive chore, right? Well, we're taking that and turning it into a dynamic, highly interactive puzzle. So, get ready, because we're exploring a seriously fascinating technique known as the close procedure.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a quick test. Take a look at this sentence, read it carefully, and really think about that gap. What has to be learnt, strictly laid down by syllabus?
So, using just the surrounding context of the sentence, what small grammatical word do you think actually belongs in that empty space? Take a second. Really look at the structure there.
Well, if you guessed the word is, congratulations! You just successfully played your very first round of the close procedure. And the cool thing is, it wasn't just a wild guess, was it? It was a highly informed deduction based entirely on the context. You just instinctively knew what belonged there.
Now that you've got a little taste of the game, let's move on to Section 1. What is the close procedure?
Basically, the close procedure takes a passage and systematically deletes words. Think about traditional comprehension tests for a second. Usually, you might just concentrate on a tiny little section of text to answer some isolated question at the end of a chapter, right? But here, you're making continuous inferences across a much wider chunk of the passage, seamlessly filling in those missing pieces as you read.
And this right here perfectly illustrates why it works so incredibly well. It's a deeply cognitive, mental task that forces total active interaction with the material. I mean, you have to skim the text just to grasp the general idea, right? You're constantly scanning for structural clues, predicting what comes next. Plus, you explore the semantic field, which just means you're actively hunting for related concepts and vocabulary to inform your choices. It totally eliminates the possibility of just making blind, wild guesses. It transforms you from a passive consumer of words into an active problem solver.
Now, in the standard close procedure, these deletions are actually surprisingly mathematical. Words are removed at fixed, regular intervals, so it might be every 9th word or every 7th or maybe every 4th word, depending on how tough they want to make it. It creates this really rigorous, almost mathematical baseline for testing your true grasp of language and grammatical structure.
But before we jump into the different game levels, you've got to keep this absolutely crucial context rule in mind. It's the golden rule of close. The first 2 sentences and the very last sentence of a passage never have blanks. Now, why is that? Well, because these anchor sentences are left totally intact to help you understand the overall meaning and trajectory of the passage before you even start filling in the gaps. They basically ground you in the narrative. All right, let's look at the variations. Moving on to Level 1, Selected Deletion and Context.
So here is where context becomes your absolute best friend. In this mode, the blanks aren't at those fixed mathematical intervals anymore. Instead, they're chosen at random by the writer. Take this funny little anecdote from a grandmother's letter about a trip to the circus. She writes, "One of the elephants escaped, and when he saw the little red car, he promptly sat on blank." Okay, what word completes this dramatic, slightly chaotic moment?
Remember the rule we talked about? Each gap stands for exactly one single word. So the word it perfectly fits the context here, all without changing the meaning of the passage. You read the clue, little red car, and your brain just naturally supplies the pronoun it. Makes sense, right?
We're leaving simple pronouns behind now. Welcome to Level 2, Multiple Choice and Inflectional.
For this one, you actually have to scan back and forth through the sentence to see which of the provided words contextually fits. The sentence here is clearly about the semantic field of global overpopulation, right? We've got experiences, signals, and predicts. Now, because it mentions growing pains ahead, which is obviously looking to the future, words like predicts or signals are both really informed, excellent guesses. And this whole concept builds beautifully into inflectional close. In this version, entire words aren't deleted, just their endings are. Things like plural markers or past tense verbs. It really tests your internal grammar engine. Look at these base words and how they change. Say you're reading a connected passage about a mechanical robot servant doing household chores. You wouldn't just write dish. You'd have to use strict grammatical knowledge to add the es to make it dishes. You'd add ed to wash to make it washed. It essentially forces you to track the timeline and plurality of the entire narrative rather than just focusing on individual vocabulary words.
Now we're really leveling up, no longer constrained to just one word. Let's look at Level 3, Phrase Deletion.
So instead of a single word, phrase deletion asks you to insert an entire phrase that makes logical sense within the passage. Honestly, this gives you massive creative freedom as a reader. Just look at this. Oliver is a film about an orphan. blank.
I mean, you could write about an orphan who lived in London. Or, you could write about an orphan boy named Oliver. As long as you're drawing upon your deeper understanding of the surrounding text, which in this case is Charles Dickens' famous story, multiple informed, creative guesses are absolutely correct. It's really all about capturing the essence of the meaning.
All right, we have finally reached it. Boss level, close without blanks. This is the ultimate advanced reading exercise, and the safety net is completely gone. There are literally no visual gaps printed on the page at all. You have to use these 3 distinct steps to hunt down exactly where a word is missing, based purely on your sense of broken syntax and logic. Step 1, you read the whole passage. Step 2, you mark the suspected omission with a stroke or a slash. And step 3, you write that missing word in the right-hand margin.
Let's actually test this out together. Read this. Robots already do jobs. Okay, something is slightly off there, right? The syntax is just a little bit broken, but where exactly is the missing puzzle piece?
So the crucial point here is that your active reading skills should instantly catch that a quantitative word is missing right before the word jobs. We just add a slash stroke right between do and jobs, and we write the word many over in the margin, making it robots already do many jobs.
Okay, let's try one more high-speed cognitive test at this boss level. Take a look at this sentence. It will be able to solve tough problems a matter of seconds that would normally take hours. Think about it. Where does the natural sentence structure break down?
And this just brilliantly illustrates the true cognitive power of the close procedure. You probably intuitively found that the missing preposition in belongs right before a matter of seconds. And you did that simply by actively predicting the natural rhythm and structural grammar of the sentence in your head. It's pretty amazing.
Ultimately, the closed procedure proves that true comprehension is never just passive absorption. It's a highly active, incredibly engaging game of logic and context. So I'm going to leave you with this challenge today. Are you actually reading the words in front of you, or is your brain just comfortably filling in the blanks of what you expect to see? The next time you're reading an article, try mentally deleting a few words as you go. See if your mind can bridge the gaps. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep actively decoding the world around you.